metro officers in Ekurhuleni had criminal records in 2022, while 100 were awaiting trial. This has been revealed by retired EMPD Deputy Commissioner Rivo Spies, who is currently testifying. Spies says during a criminal record checking process, they found that 275 EMPD officers were convicted of criminal offences. The majority of crimes related to assault, theft, driving under the influence, reckless and negligent driving, with 15 EMPD officers awaiting trial for murder.
No illicit activity was recorded, and that is a total of 3,174 people. 275 officers that have illicit activity recorded, and then the 211 is still outstanding, which gives us a total of 3,762 at that stage.
In the courts now, the attempted murder case of alleged crime boss Vusimuzi Cat Matlala has been transferred to the High Court for trial. Matlala appeared in the Alexandra Magistrates Court today for the centralization of his cases. He's accused of organizing a hit on his former girlfriend, Tebogo Tobeshane. He's also been charged for 2 other botched hits on businessman Joe Sibanyoni and DJ Vetis, whose real name is Sinki Mukubong. Khomotso Modise has more.
It was a brief court appearance for Vusimuzi Cat Matlala, who stood in the dock with his 4 co-accused, including his wife, Tsakane. Prosecutors told the court that Matlala's case is ready to be transferred to the High Court for trial. NPA spokesperson Pindim Jonondwane.
We did receive the approval for the centralization of the Pretoria dockets, which was that of Sibanyoni and others, conspiracy to commit murder, as well as charges of attempted murder, unlawful possession of firearms and ammunition.
Another alleged crime boss who's been subject of the Madlanga Commission is Katiso KT Molefe. He also appeared immediately after Matlala in the Magistrates Court this morning, but prosecutors say his case is not ready to be transferred to the High Court. He'll return to the Alexandra Magistrates Court next month. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News in Alexandra.
Let's move to KZN now, where 2 brothers linked to the murders of rapper Keenan Forbes and celebrity chef Tibelo Tibbs Mutswane have been extradited to South Africa from Eswatini. Malusi and Sianda Ndimande arrived at the King Shaka International Airport in Durban this morning, and they will be standing trial alongside their 5 co-accused. The pair was tracked down after fleeing to Eswatini, where they were arrested last year for their alleged involvement in the murders. Forbes and Mutswane were shot dead outside a Durban restaurant in 2023. Ntantla Mabaso has more.
Siyabonga and Ndimande arrived under heavy security guard with members of the police's special task force escorting them. Interpol officers handed them over to the investigating officers who charged them. Police spokesperson Atlenda Mate.
They'll be taken to Durban Central, where they will be processed, fingerprints taken, everything. And then they will then proceed to court, where now they will appear before a magistrate.
KZN Police Head Ndimande Mkhwanazi is expected to attend the proceedings.
So we are hoping also the Provincial Commissioner of KZN, Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, will also be in court in support of this operation. I think it's a moment we have all been waiting for as the SAPS.
The suspects will also be charged for other murder cases, including the alleged murder of a taxi boss. Nhlanhla Mabaso, Eyewitness News, Durban.
And in Pakistan, at least 12 people have been killed following an explosion outside district court buildings in the capital city. The cause of the explosion was not immediately clear. However, it is believed that a suicide bomber set off the explosion. Some security officials have told AFP that around 20 wounded people have been taken to a nearby government-run hospital. Police and paramilitary troops have cordoned off the area, which houses several government offices. Gold is trading at $4,143.27 an ounce. The rand is at 17.16 to the dollar, 22.53 to the pound, 19.84 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $64.06 a barrel.
On the N1 North, there's a crash in the left lane after Rufus interchange, and on the N1 South after Allendale Road there's a crash. The vehicle's on the left shoulder, and a stationary truck on the N3 North at Modderfontein Road with the left lane closed. And in Cape Town, in Plumstead, traffic lights faulty at Main and Gabriel Road, and in Bellville West at Mike Pinau Boulevard and the N1 South.
It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng with afternoon scattered showers expected. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 22 and 24 degrees, while Cape Town is partly cloudy with a moderate southwesterly wind at a high of 29. The top story in EWN this hour, National Director of Public Prosecution Shamila Butoyi has started giving testimony in Parliament today.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Mandy Wiener on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. Think bigger, think Nedbank Commercial Banking. On the show today, NPA head Shamila Butoyi on threats to undermine the prosecuting authority. Kat Matlala and Katie Molefe appear in court. The two Ndimande brothers repatriated to South Africa. What's behind the removal of Dion George as Minister of Forestry and Fisheries? And unemployment stats are out. They've improved slightly. All of that over the next hour.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app, DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Report on 702 and Cape Talk with me, Mandy Wiener. Good to be with you today. A pretty good day for unemployment numbers in South Africa. It's all relative, right? Unemployment has decreased by 1.3%. So around 250 jobs were created between July and September of this year. So the unemployment rate is now only at 31.9%. That's a crazy, crazy number when you think about it. Tiny little win there. Also a good day for the NPA today. Well, it depends how you read it. Again, it's perspective. So Shamila Butoyi, the NPA head, is answering questions before the ad hoc committee in Parliament. She's been speaking about allegations against the NPA. But in the courts, you have both Kat Matlala and Katie Molefe appearing in court, and the two Ndimande brothers in the AKA case being repatriated to South Africa from Eswatini. So it's all about context and how you want to read the situation. But at the moment, Shamila Butoyi is taking questions from MPs. Glynis Breitenbach, who of course used to be a prosecutor at the NPA, asking questions. Other MPs asking questions too. But let's get up to speed first with Babalo Ndenze. Babalo, good afternoon to you. Take us through what Shamila Butoyi has been saying.
Yes, indeed, Mandy. Shamila Butoyi making her first appearance today for just one day. And she's taken the committee through some of her background as prosecutor, from working at the ICJ for 10 years at The Hague, and coming back to the country, beg your pardon, and coming back to the country to work in the prosecuting authority space. And she's mentioned the lack of capacity within the NPA, the lack of staff, low morale, skills and capacity, demotivated staff. And when she had to come up with a leadership team, she had to consider all these factors. But she's also touched on, issues, more recent issues around the allegations that were, or the statements that she made about, people trying to undermine the country's prosecuting authority. She says, she's even gone as far as meeting with the president, to tell him about this information that she received, from someone within the intelligence structures or some of the country's law enforcement agencies. And she's also touched on issues around, certain prosecutor that has been suspended because now she received allegations from Tleka Mkhwanazi as well as National Commissioner Fanny Masemola. These are really two high senior ranking officials in the police. And she says this official or this prosecutor was suspended at some point as a result of this evidence of these two gentlemen. But she's refusing to release the name of the prosecutor, which is angering some of the MPs. They're saying that she must release that name. They want to know who it is. Julius Malema, as well as the MK party and the ANC, also calling for her to release the name. But she's offering to release that name in a closed session because apparently this information is quite sensitive and it came from someone in a very sensitive kind of security environment. So they're discussing that at the moment. But she also spoke about these concerted efforts, Mandy, to undermine the prosecuting authority and to kind of scupper its work as it tries to solve some of the country's most serious corruption cases. But take a listen to her how she phrased it, Mandy.
the allegations that have been made by General Mkhwanazi and where it has brought us, both the Madlanga Commission as well as this committee really gives us as South Africa the opportunities to consider what are the vulnerabilities in the systems. And these allegations have brought that into sharp focus in terms of the fact that there are vulnerabilities, and we have to accept that not just in South Africa, but throughout the world, institutions that are fighting for the rule of law are under serious threat and open to vulnerabilities.
Babalo, questions from MPs, including Gillis Breitenbach, some others as well. Tell us about those.
Yes, the questions from MPs have not really started yet, but there are questions of clarity, mostly from the MK party needing clarity on the name of the prosecutor. The EFF also really asked some questions around the same subject on the naming of the prosecutor. The chairperson, Solis Lehanyane, basically saying that a lot of these people that have been named before the committee have not been suspended. A lot of them are not facing any charges. And members are saying that, you're protected, advocate, but you can, just speak your mind, give us these names. We've heard names before from the committee. There's nothing really stopping you from being honest with us and just telling us this gentleman's name. Julius Malema said it's a gentleman named Chauke, who the president suspended and issued a statement on. But Shamila Batoyi won't confirm whether it is indeed Prosecutor Chauke from Gauteng. But the questions really at the moment, Mandy, are from the members seeking clarity on some of the issues that Shamila Batoyi has told Advocate Norman Aronson, who's still leading the question now until I think after lunch, before the members will start putting their own original questions to the MPA head.
Babalo, thank you very much. Babalo and Denze, EWN reporter. Let's go live now to the ad hoc committee and listen in to Shamila Batoyi.
To explore what the reasons might be. I can understand from a reputational point of view that someone's name who's still being accused not be disclosed. But it is so that many names have been mentioned during the course of these hearings, and members understand it's on the basis that there are allegations. But there may be a different perception out there in the public that I can also understand. The other thing is this, you actually mentioned that the reason for the suspension is not related to what was mentioned to you by, I don't know, just you can correct me if I'm wrong, by Lieutenant General Khumalo and the National Commissioner. It is for some other reason.
That's correct.
Isn't that a reason why perhaps the name should be mentioned? Because I think the concern is that given that allegations have been made by, amongst others, Lieutenant General Khumalo and also the National Commissioner and Lieutenant General Konazi, that this appears to be a person who's been suspended, but not for the reasons that they allege. So why can't the name be mentioned?
For the same reasons that I mentioned earlier. And I'm not sure if you want me to repeat those.
No, that's fine.
Chair.
We did say that I think that the Chair did point out that during the break you can consider your position and take legal advice and get a legal opinion if necessary. Because as you know, we're in a different forum to the Madlanga Commission. You are also protected by parliamentary privilege. And it's parliamentary privilege is only lost if at the end of the day you are found to have lied or for some unlawful reason. So you are protected. So you are in a protected environment. You're not persuaded.
I'm in a protected environment. I'm trying to protect others.
Well,
for the reasons that I mentioned.
I think that person will understand that you have to make the disclosure because of parliamentary privilege that protects you, and now there is a request, strong request, from the committee that the name be disclosed.
Chair, I ask that I be permitted to seek legal advice on this matter and come back to the committee, but I assure the committee again that we do want to cooperate. I do want to cooperate fully.
I think that's why the chairperson had, like with other witnesses, read out the oath and even before that explained what this committee is all about. Okay, if I'm just, I think we were going on to the statistics that you mentioned at paragraphs 71 and 72. This is all in relation to misconduct cases in the period from 2019 until March 2025.
Sure, fascinating stuff there. So that's the evidence leader, Norman Arendse, SC, who's asking Shamila Batoy, the head of the National Prosecuting Authority, to reveal the name of a prosecutor that's at the center of questioning there. And she feels that she needs to protect that prosecutor. So she has said that she wants to cooperate, but she needs to get legal advice. So very interesting. You need to actually be able to see Shamila Batoy's face when she was told she was in a protected environment. There was a definite raised eyebrow there and I still have to reveal his name. So I'll let you know if anything changes there. Very interesting as Shamila Batoy is facing questions at the ad hoc committee.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently.
Now, the Midlanga Commission is continuing in Pretoria, and it's been hearing from the former Deputy Ekurhuleni Metro Police Chief, or the retired Deputy Police Chief, Revo Spies, who's been testifying for the past few days. Yesterday, we heard about how a police informant was killed after exposing the corruption of officers from the EMPD. Let's find out more about that now with Oren Singh, who joins us in our Joburg studio. Oren, take us through today's testimony.
Rot, Mandy. That's essentially what Revo Spies has been putting forward before the Midlanga Commission in terms of operations within EMPD and also their officers. We saw stats being presented this morning dating back to 2022 when they tried to roll out a criminal check on the employees or officers of EMPD. And just to read through some of these stats, after 3,174 or 3,762 EMPD employees they had at the time, 275 had criminal records when they checked in 2022. 100 were awaiting trial. So this is a scary stat. Revo Spies saying that many of these cases dating back to the early 80s, the 90s and so forth, but nevertheless, he doesn't know how they were employed within EMPD if they had criminal records to their names. It should be that you shouldn't be allowed to, being a law enforcement officer. So that was quite scary. But we've also continued to hear about this relationship between Julius Mkhonazi, acting EMPD head, and the sort of political protection that he had from the former Ekurhuleni city manager, Imogen Mashazi. We spoke to, and I found this clip, because we spoke to Imogen Mashazi in January this year. And we asked her, why hasn't Julius Mkhonazi been disciplined in accordance with this IPID report, who found that he had been involved in incidents of gross misconduct? Why hasn't he been taken to task? And she had this to tell us back in January.
The IPID report for us was very vague, and I was unable to discipline anyone. We had to take that IPID report to our investigation. We appointed an independent investigator through the internal audit, and the report was out. We'll share the report with you so that we can start disciplining people. So from that report, the acting chief of police has done nothing wrong. He's cleared. So IPID, they can go ahead if they want to arrest him, if they think he is wrong, because they are police officers. But from our side, in terms of the DC and investigation, there's nothing wrong that the acting chief of police has done. He's been cleared by our report, and for as long as there's nothing that they're doing from their side, if they believe that he is wrong, there's nothing I can do as an accounting officer. He reports to me. Even the chief of police, who is on suspension, he reports to me. If there's any wrongdoing from his side, I must do my own investigation and I must also subject that person to a DC. I can't subject my officers to a DC based on a report that I myself do not understand, because I had to take it to legal, and legal analyze the report, and they refer the report to internal audit.
So, Oren, place this in the broader context for us. Why are we speaking about the EMPD at the Madlanga inquiry?
Essentially, it falls into the picture of Vusimusi Katmatlala. The Madlanga Commission has heard that Vusimusi Katmatlala is part of this big five cartel that have captured police, the prosecution, judiciary, and all sort of criminal justice system elements within Gauteng. And part of that is EMPD. They're alleging that Vusimusi Katmatlala, through two of his companies, got into two unlawful contracts with EMPD that would see him being allowed to use blue lights. But I think what's quite important was that the contract stipulated that it's not just within the jurisdiction of Ekurhuleni. So essentially allowing Vusimusi Katmatlala to use blue lights throughout not only Gauteng, but the country. His private security company vehicles were allowed to use these blue lights. And in terms of the MOUs that were unlawful and entered into with Vusimusi Katmatlala, which Julius Mkonazi, the acting EMPD head, did, it essentially says that he has free reign throughout the country to use these blue lights. So it's quite crucial in that it's showing us the extent that Vusimusi Katmatlala had captured law enforcement with specific regard to the local Metro Police in Ekurhuleni.
Oren, thank you for making sense of all of that for us. When I hear Oren talk to me about the Madlanga inquiry and Babalo talk about the ad hoc committee, all I hear is lots of names. And I feel like I'm struggling to make sense of all of them and keep them all straight. Are you having that experience, or are you watching this like a daily soap opera? Like you are breaking this down, you know exactly who the characters are. I find it very complex and trying to keep it all straight. Who is linked to who, and who's the deputy what, and who's the businessman, and the difference between Katie and Kat, and are they the same person? It's a lot. Real growth needs more than just banking, and Nedbank Commercial Banking is your growth partner. Their team of industry experts understand your business and its potential, offering insight to help you see opportunity where others see obstacles. Because when you can see what others don't, you can do what others can't. Think bigger. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
What do partners of the Gates Foundation do when facing the world's toughest challenges? They keep going. From discovering a plastic drape that helps detect excessive postpartum bleeding faster, to developing better bed nets to kill malaria-carrying mosquitoes, to researching an RSV vaccine that could save hundreds of thousands of children. For every problem, there are people who prove that progress is possible. The Gates Foundation, partners of human potential. Learn more at gatesfoundation.org/keep going.
Did you know that every time you shop and save with Better Rewards, you're supporting the Dis-Chem Foundation? Each time you swipe, not only are you rewarded, but a percentage of your purchase is donated to the Dis-Chem Foundation to support communities in need. All the more reason to sign up to become a Dis-Chem Better Rewards member. Support with every swipe. The Dis-Chem Foundation, caring for the community.
In case you missed it, 702 was in conversation with Santam about Santam's partnership with the G20 taking place in Johannesburg.
We are participating in the Disaster Risk and Reduction Working Group, and through that we are able to share some learning, good practices, and what we've got from our flagship program, like Partnership and Risk and Resilience. So we hope that the learnings that we are able to share with the G20 countries were able to be utilized, most importantly to emphasize the role of partnerships between government and the private sector.
Santam is a proud sponsor of the G20 Summit. Santam, this is freedom. Santam is an authorized FSP, a licensed non-life insurer, and the controlling company for its group of companies.
WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
Hi, Mandy, Snowman and Pichera. You know, I'm listening to Shamila Batoi and her lack of cooperation, particularly in revealing this crooked advocate. Why did she protect him? Because everybody has been protected from Parliament to Madlanga Commission. You know, Mandy, we must say it for what it is. I think the parliamentarians, they must also question her, because I've been raising this issue of head clash with Hemi Cronje, who's in Cape Town. I hope they do tackle that issue, because it's still unclear as to what was the clash all about before Andrea Johnson was appointed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, there's a backstory there. That's for sure. Shamila Batoy on the stand at the moment, under a lot of pressure, in a difficult position to reveal that name. But is it a difficult position? You argue that it's not, and we'll let you know what she does decide to do after getting legal advice, the name of the prosecutor in question. So while the inquiries are underway in the courts, we've had a court appearance today by both Kat Matlala and KT Molefe. So they've both appeared in court. Kat Matlala appeared, Vusimuzi Kat Matlala. His matter has been transferred to the High Court. KT Molefe back in court as well. I was joking before the break. It's so hard to keep everyone straight. Who's who in the zoo? And are these the same people? Are they different people? Yo, it's a lot. So Khomotso Modise is here to talk about both of those cases. So, Khomotso, let's start with Kat Matlala. He appeared in court for a finalization of the docket. So explain that case to us.
Good afternoon, Mandy. Yes, it's so hard keeping track of all of them, but also, it's also hard keeping track of all the cases that they have against them, or the counts that they have against them, because both men were in court today for their cases to be consolidated and then referred to the High Court for trial. So with Vusimuzi Kat Matlala, he appeared with 4 others. These include his wife, Zakane Matlala, who stood next to him in court. The main case that we've been following him for was the hit on his girlfriend, socialite girlfriend, Debogo Tobejane. And he's been in court for that, but he's got other cases as well. And I hope I can get this right. So there's one hit on a man named Joe Sibanyoni, who's a businessman, a taxi owner as well. There's a hit there that he's been charged with. It's an attempted hit. Sibanyoni did come out alive. And then there was a hit on a popular DJ Vetis. And he's been charged with that as well. So those are the hits, and in total there's about 11 attempted murder counts against him. And then there's the possession of the unlicensed firearm as well, or ammunition. So that was Vusimuzi Kat Matlala. That matter has been put together, it's been consolidated, and there's been an approval for it to be referred to the High Court, which will now happen. So he's going to be in the Johannesburg High Court on the 29th of January for pre-trial proceedings.
Okay, so that's Kat, and then after him, Katiso KT Molefe appeared. What did he appear for?
So he appeared alongside 2 co-accused. 2 of those men are also co-accused with Kat in the matter that was in the magistrate's court prior. And there were 3, in total, it's Katiso KT Molefe and 3 co-accused. However, the first accused, Michael Dow, was not in court today. It seems Correctional Services had trouble bringing him to court. But they are accused, at least 2 of them or 3 of them are accused of the murder of Armand Swart, the Vereniging engineer. That's the first matter that Molefe was arrested for in December last year. And then he was charged with the murder of DJ Sambodi. And then he was also charged with the murder of DJ Vintos. So that's the charges against them. And they also have
crossover then between between Kat and
No,
KT.
because with Kat it's DJ Vetis. And then with with Matlala, with Molefe, it's DJ Vintos. DJ Vintos was Hector Buthelezi, I believe that was his name. No, I'm absolutely. So it's DJ Vintos.
It hurts my brain.
Same.
It hurts my brain to try and understand this.
Maybe if we can try and remember their real names. So DJ Vintos' real name was Hector Buthelezi. DJ Somebody was Opa John Safoka. And DJ Vetis was Sienki Mukubung. Yes. So those are the different matters. And then Matlala is also charged with an attempted hit on another businessman as well. Not Matlala, Molefe. He's charged on a hit on a businessman, and that businessman's name was Don Ndimande. So those are his matters, and his matter is not ready to be transferred to the High Court yet. So he'll be back in the Alexandra Magistrates Court next month.
Yeah, you all deserve a medal for understanding this. Phil says on the WhatsApp line, "Hi Mandy, thanks for admitting that you feel lost and bewildered by the many names and titles and the feelings that there are no good guys and only baddies. Let's hope whoever is in charge of this makes sense of it all and makes the right decisions thereafter. Thanks, Phil. Maybe is it just me? Is it only me at having end of year fatigue who can't keep everything straight and my brain hurts when I hear this? Anyway, Khomotso Modise has done a great job of trying to explain that to us. 12:31, time for Eyewitness News headlines.
Thanks, Mandy. Good afternoon. We begin with news just in. The country's unemployment rate has dropped to 31.9% in the third quarter from 33.2% in the second quarter, while this brings the number of employed people to 17.1 million. 8 million other people eligible to work still remain jobless. 6 out of the 10 occupational categories recorded employment gains in the quarter under review. National Director of Public Prosecutions Shamila Batoyi says the last 6 years as prosecution's boss have been a roller coaster. Batoyi, who retires in January, is giving evidence before the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee, which is investigating corruption in the criminal justice system. Batoyi says her appointment was mainly to turn around and rebuild the NPA when she took over from Sean Abrahams. And clinical trials for the country's first locally developed vaccine in more than 5 decades are set to begin and get underway soon. Health Minister Aaron Motsoaledi has been leading the official launch of BioVac's oral cholera vaccine at the Chris Hani Baragwanath Academic Hospital in Soweto. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 1 or as it happens.
EWN Sport.
Good afternoon, I'm Tolagile Mganga. Hugo Bruce says friendly games don't exist as Bafana gear up for Saturday's clash against Zambia. It's the first time South Africa returned to the pitch since qualifying for next year's FIFA World Cup, and it's also a last chance for players to impress. That's ahead of his AFCON 2025 squad announcement in the first week of December.
It's also for me the last opportunity to call some players who I want to see a little bit more from closer. Therefore, those 2 guys are here with us. They make good performances in their club, so I think that they deserve to be with us. And now it's up to them in the next days to prove that they are on the right place here, that they are players for the future who can help us.
The Springbok team for this weekend's outgoing test against Italy will be announced on Thursday. That's due to Lua Diaga facing a disciplinary hearing today for his red card against France for foul play. Marco van Staden says the double world champions cannot afford to be complacent against the Italian side, who claimed a surprise win over the Wallabies last time out.
They put Australia a lot under pressure at the breakdown, and we could have seen it when they played us the 2 tests at home. That's a massive focus of them, and I think they got a lot of reward out of that of the weekend. So now we're expecting a hard battle at the breakdown.
And Ansube has announced that she's expecting her first child and will take an extended break from professional tennis. The world number 79 is expecting a baby boy in April, and the news comes a week after she opened up about her struggles with depression amid a demanding WTA tour schedule. Tolagile Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
On the N1 North, there's that earlier crash in the left lane after Proof Plus interchange. And if you're on the N1 South, just after Allendale Road, there's a crash. The vehicles are still on the left shoulder, but please drive carefully past that scene. And there's that stationary truck on the N3 North at Modderfontein Road, and the left lane's closed. In Calvin Alexandra, there's roadworks, and that's slowing down traffic on the N3 North from London Road to Buccleuch interchange. Traffic lights faulty in Pretoria CBD at Bosman and Versage, and in Cape Town, traffic lights faulty in Plumstead at Main and Gabriel Road, and Belleville West at Mike Pina Boulevard and the N1 South. More Eyewitness News traffic at 1 p.m.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Ready to sell your vehicle? We Buy Cars goes above and beyond to make it simple, quick and rewarding. Sell your car, bike, boat or bakkie for a great price with instant payment. Trading in or buying next? Explore over 12,000 vehicles. Plus, get flexible finance and cover options at webuycars.co.za or at any branch. We Buy Cars, the best way to buy or sell.
We get told to wait for things. Wait for the right moment. Wait for a rainy day. Wait till the cows come home. Cows? Really? Well, the waiting is over because the Decophone Furniture Black Friday Super Sale is now on, and with 15 to 40% and more off everything for the whole of November. What are you waiting for? The Decophone Black Friday Super Sale, now on, in-store or at decophoneSA.co.za. The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. Like the lady on her way to work, listening to a love song on the radio. She's recreating the music video in her mind, with herself as the leading lady. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic, it's a concert on the move. Every story is different, and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005, in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Building a life across borders starts with choices. Visas, a second passport, citizenship, your child's education abroad. And sometimes those choices can be overwhelming. For 30 years, Sable International has simplified global mobility, including cross-border tax, forex, and wealth management, helping you make the right choices with expertise and care. Build your future beyond borders. Visit us at sableinternational.com.
WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
Good day, Mandy. Yeah, Mandy, you are not the only one who is confused. I was also confused. I didn't know those are two people, Vindies and Vindos. I thought it was one thing. So, yeah, I'm also confused.
I think that we would be, as a country, we would be wise to audit not just our police, but our entire security cluster too. Otherwise, at some point, we'll probably be overthrown by Lesotho.
You say that in jest, but I've been saying all along that I think that the ambit, the scope of the Madlanga Commission is too short. It's too narrow. I think that it should be a much wider scope and a much wider mandate, because we're looking at what's going on currently. I think that there's 20 years of concern here that we should be looking at. So I think it should be broader, not just the police, like broader law enforcement, but that would take longer, it would cost more money, and would we actually get anywhere?
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently.
Now, the two Ndimande brothers who were arrested in Eswatini for their alleged involvement in the murders of Kenan aka Forbes and Tebelo Tibbs Motswane are being extradited to South Africa. That's happening at the moment. And Nhlanhla Mabaso, EWN reporter, watching that for us. And Nhlanhla, good afternoon to you. Tell us about the latest there.
We just arrived here at the Durban Magistrates Court, where these two brothers, Siyabonga and Ndimande, will be making their first court appearance. They are charged, of course, with the murder of AKA and Tebelo Motswane, Tibbs, the celebrity chef. But they will also mainly be charged with a murder of a taxi boss that happened years ago in Amanzimtoti. The state is also accusing them of shooting someone in what was suspected to be a hit. They well shot a wrong person and killed her, but they will be appearing in court, and those charges will be read out. But we do know that it's around 24 counts in total. Currently, they are next to where we are at the Durban Magistrates Court, but they are next to at the Durban Central Police Station, where they are now being officially charged. So what was happening at the airport was not them being placed under arrest, but was South African authorities receiving them from Interpol. That process took about an hour. They were then escorted mainly by the specialized units of the police. That includes the Tactical Response Team, Special Task Force. I've covered a lot of police operations. I've never seen anything like what I've seen. I just saw now, with so many armored police vehicles, mainly, and a police helicopter harboring in the air. They say that they don't want to leave anything to chance, as these are high, value targets or individuals that are set to appear here mainly. But in court now, teams are just setting up, but they are now being placed under arrest officially and will appear in this court.
Nhlanhla, there were concerns from the Ndimande brothers that they fear for their lives. Their lives could be at risk, and that would explain this very, very heavy police presence. Is there any concern around that? What's tell us about the lead up to this?
Well, indeed, Mandy, the fact that you have General Zulu, who's the head of the special ops in the country, traveling with her team to Eswatini. That tells you about how much of a security risk is, and you can tell that police top brass don't want a mistake with this. The fact that they would deploy her to be part of these operations in that regard, it means that everything will go as they expect. But the amount of security, man, it speaks to them really fearing for their lives. And police did say that they're not going to, risk anything in this case. And they were saying that, man, this amount of security has nothing to do with just them, but you're also looking out for people that may be targeting them who want to see them dead. Hence, they were transported in a police inyana from the public order policing, and those are one of the armored vehicles that SAPS owns in this country. But Mandy, you look at the security deployment even here in the court. There's specialized units all over. There's police dogs searching, and sniffing for explosives. But also, Mandy, as they are set to appear, as they left the airport, you could tell, though, a sense of outrage, really, from community members. People were screaming and saying words like "Nikohagele," which translates to "you are evil." People were saying, all sorts of things to them, to a point where General Zulu was like, "Oh, I didn't expect this." People were standing there at the airport because they already had a sense and read on the news as to what's happening at the airport, and they said all this stuff. But that alone, speaks to the frustration from the people. They will be appearing shortly here under police, a heavy police guard. We are expecting the police boss in KZN, that's Santam Kwanas, to also attend this proceedings.
Nkatla, thank you. Nkatla Mabaso, EWN reporter, speaking there about the extradition of the two Ndimande brothers. A huge amount of activity at the airport today, and that police escort into the court in town as well. Brigadier Ndimande, spokesperson for the police, joining us now. Brigadier, thank you very much for your time. A huge police operation today to, I suppose, protect the two Ndimande brothers.
Well, absolutely. A very good afternoon to you and to the listeners. It's been a long road for the team. We have been anticipating this moment for quite some time. A lot of great detective work, meticulous investigation went into this particular case. But you will recall, Mandy, that the two Ndimande brothers are the first two suspects that we arrested in relation to the murders of AKA and Tibbs. And right after the arrests in Eswatini, after our investigators alerted authorities that they are hiding in that country, 3 days later, we then rounded up 5 of the suspects that have been in custody. We are leaving nothing to chance. It's a high-risk operation. We are not just dealing with your normal day-to-day criminals. We are dealing with contract killers, professional hitmen, if I can describe them in that manner. But you look at the security detail that we have put in place, because firstly, it's about ensuring that they don't escape, but also that they are also protected. Remember, they need to come and tell us who sent them to go and kill AKA and Tibbs. We do believe they have the answers, and the evidence at hand is that one of the brothers is the one that pulled the trigger that killed AKA. We know that the one that pulled the trigger on Tibbs is already in custody. He's part of the 5. So we do believe now, with 7 in custody in South Africa, we are getting closer to the truth as to who called for the hit on AKA and Tibbs.
Ndimande, Brigadier, thank you very much for your time speaking to us there. We are expecting a court appearance shortly of the two Ndimande brothers who have been extradited. Real progress there for the police. It's taken a very long time to get to this point, but progress must be applauded.
For 3 consecutive years, Nedbank has been recognized as the best investment bank in South Africa at the Global Banking and Finance Review Awards. Whether helping clients navigate cross-border risks or building financing frameworks that support market reform, Nedbank is a partner in more than just capital. We're part of the architecture supporting Africa's renewable energy future. See money differently. Nedbank. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and registered credit provider.
Lock into roaring rugby action this season with Hollywood Bets. Bet 50 Rand or more on any Vodacom United Rugby Championship fixture, and you could win a share of 300,000 Rand in cash, betting vouchers or prizes. This includes Smeg bar fridges, macro vouchers, a Sharks captain run, or a player circle experience. Only the toughest team will prevail. Bet now and let the rugby rumble begin. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
At Auto & General, we understand your business is built on more than just vehicles. It's your stock, tools and equipment, and the premises where you work. Auto & General Business Insurance is designed for businesses like yours, protecting your assets against fire, theft, storms, and other unexpected events. To protect your livelihood, visit autogen.co.za and get an obligation-free business insurance quote. Auto & General, never not there. Auto & General is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
Good day, Mandy. I'd just like to comment about the statistics on unemployment. They say it has dropped. I wonder which sector has dropped because the numbers are still high. You go to the location, it's like a weekend. But yeah, who am I? Andy in Breaking Downs. Thank you.
Andile, yeah, I completely agree with you. And even though there's been the slightest of increases, or decreases at least, improvement, jobless rate decreasing by 1.3%, the number is still so high. So around 248,000 jobs were created between July and September. So the unemployment rate is sitting at 31.9%. And we know always that the youth unemployment rate is so much higher than that. Well, let's welcome now the Statistician General, Rusenga Maluleke, who joins us to speak about this. Statistician General, as always, welcome to the Midday Report.
Oh, let me greet you, Mandy, and greet the 702 listeners.
Tell us about the unemployment figures.
Well, let us start by saying that we have what we call the labor force. That is the people who are employed as well as unemployed. So 17.1 million people were employed in the third quarter 2025, and 8 million were not employed but had actively looked for employment. And these are the 8 million out of 25.1 million in the labor force who represent the unemployment rate of 31.9%. Having said so, Mandy, we have other indicators. We used to have what we call the expanded unemployment rate. We have refined it now to also include the people who are unavailable but were looking for employment. These could be students who are still writing exams but are saying, I'm looking for employment, but as soon as I finish, if you offer employment to me, I'm available in another 2 weeks or a month. And now that has come to a combined rate of about 4.5 million, which includes the 3.5 million discouraged work seekers. And that gives us what we call the combined rate of unemployment and potential labor force. And indeed, that comes to about 34.9%.
Okay, thank you for explaining that. An important clarity there. So we do have jobs that were created, around 248,000 jobs. Where were they created? What jobs are they?
The majority of those jobs were in construction, and that was followed by an area of community and social services. But in construction, it was largely in the informal sector of construction, where we had 130,000, and that was followed by community and social services at 116,000. Trade created 108,000 jobs. Mining, agriculture, and private households also created jobs.
Consistently, we've seen the unemployment rate amongst Black African South Africans consistently higher than the national average, and this has been over the past 10 years.
Certainly, we will understand that when you look at the structure of our spatial structure in the country, Black Africans are relatively far away from urban centers. Compare them with the white population group. the colored population group and the Indian Asian population groups, who are usually closer to city centers and urban centers. So they are able to take up employment, whereas the black Africans are relatively in far-flung areas where there are no nearer urban centers, and that contributes largely. So what you see in the apartheid spatial arrangement still prevalent in our country.
And as unfortunately is often the case, the Eastern Cape, if you look at geographically, was the one province that saw a decrease.
What we have seen previously is that the Eastern Cape for the last 2 years was overtaken by the Northwest in terms of unemployment generally. But what we have seen specifically is that in this quarter, third quarter of 2025, the Eastern Cape lost about 53,000 jobs, which were largely in manufacturing. When you look at the industries, we will have seen that manufacturing lost a lot of jobs than any other industry. And of course, other areas include utilities and the like. So the Eastern Cape did lose a lot of jobs in that area of manufacturing, utilities and transport.
Resinga Maluleke, Statistician General, thank you very much for your time here on the Midday Report, breaking down those unemployment figures for us.
The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car with a nervous but excited first-time driver waiting for the perfect gap to switch lanes. I can do this. The pressure. The Outsurance pointsman knows not just a car in traffic. It's a sense of freedom and independence on the move. Every story is different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Tani Esther, or should I say the Tupperware Tani? How's business going?
Business is booming. I've been operating out of the boot of my car for 10 years, but shame, it couldn't keep up with my growing empire.
Okay, so you sold it to We Buy Cars?
Yes, quick. Sold my old one, bought a bigger one. I even sold some of my Tupperware to the friendly guy who picked up my car.
Stick to what you know best, eh, Tony?
Excuse me?
Never mind. We Buy Cars. Geared for your business, geared for you.
For the first time on African soil, business leaders from across the globe will gather for the B20 Summit in Sandton from 18th to 20th November. On the agenda is inclusive growth and prosperity through global cooperation. Tomorrow, the Clement Manyatela Show will be in conversation with Nedbank to discuss all the insights, expectations, and predictions ahead of the summit. So tune in to 702 in conversation with Nedbank, proud sponsors of the B20 Summit. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and registered credit provider.
WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
Mandy, how are you doing? This is scary stuff, eh? And I can't keep track of it. And I'm not following it in depth, but it's just, I think our country is in bigger trouble than what we think. The police has just been criminalized. It's just a criminal syndicate. It is actually scary. Yep, but let's stay positive.
Thank you very much for that. On the WhatsApp line, Khlingani says, hi, Wendy. What we're hearing from the Madlanga Commission and also from the ad hoc committee. So it's telling us how our justice system has been compromised. The only remedy to strengthen our justice system is to hand power to the military to govern our country because our politicians are rotten to the top. Look, I don't think that that's going to work. I have to disagree with you there. I think we have a beautiful constitutional democracy. We just need to make sure that we root out corruption, that we defend our democratic institutions, and that there is rule of law. Ultimately, that's what we're trying to achieve here.
702.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener.
Let's walk the talk.
Well, to something much more positive and optimistic, the Desmond and Leah Tutu Legacy Foundation has launched Letters of Peace. It's an invitation for people across South Africa and beyond to put pen to paper or voice to camera or art to canvas. It's a powerful act of shared humanity, and it leads up to the 15th Desmond Tutu International Peace Lecture, which takes place on the 20th of November in Cape Town. So let's speak now to Janet Jobson, who is the CEO of the foundation and joins us now. Janet, good afternoon to you. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Mandy. Lovely to be with you and the listeners.
So explain to us the initiative Letters of Peace. You're very clear that it's not a social media campaign, it's a civic act of conscience.
Absolutely. And I think particularly in this time where we can become incredibly despairing and incredibly cynical about the state of South Africa, the state of the world, really what we're trying to do is to mobilize almost hope and peace as a form of resistance against despair. Really having everyday South Africans committing to showing up, committing to making their voice heard towards peace and prosperity in South Africa. And although that sort of can seem shallow, in reality, if millions of us stand up together and commit every single day to peace, we will see fundamental change in our country.
So how does Letters of Peace work? As I understand it, you start with either a poem or an artwork or a recording and using a prompt.
Absolutely. So we want people to express themselves as however they would like to. And we're just asking a simple question: what does peace demand of us today? And really thinking about what it asks of each of us in our daily lives, whether we're a school kid or a politician, whether we're someone with power or someone who maybe feels on the margins of society. Each of us has the opportunity to do something that aids peace in our communities and in our society. And we'd love to hear what those are from a very wide range of South Africans, using whatever means they feel most comfortable sharing that commitment.
So for anybody who wants to get involved with this, you're encouraging them to use the hashtag Letters of Peace, or they can contribute to the foundation's website, and using prompts like, "Dear world, peace to me means." If Archbishop Tutu were here today, I would tell him, my letter of peace is for. So I'm going to put you on the spot if you don't mind. And if you had to write a letter that said, if Archbishop Tutu were here today, I'd tell him, what would you tell him about the country and this campaign?
I think I'd tell him that despite all of the rough times that we've been through, there are incredible South Africans showing up every single day. And we see it in all of these commissions and hearings. As much as there's rot to be seen, we are seeing incredible South Africans being incredibly brave and standing up for the country and standing up for its citizens. And that's the kind of moral courage that Tutu had. And so I think he'd be incredibly proud of us.
I love that. That's beautiful. And then just lastly, Janet, we know that this is all in the run up to the International Peace Lecture. Tell us about that and who's going to be delivering the lecture.
We're really excited. We've got an incredible speaker, Dr. Shashi Tharoor, who's an Indian parliamentarian but worked very significantly in the UN system, is a prolific author and public intellectual. And the theme for this year is faith, conflict, and our shared humanity, really exploring the ways that our different faiths can play a role in building peace in the world. So we think it's going to be an excellent evening. And we've just confirmed that Mandisi Jantjies is going to be performing with us at the Peace Lecture. So it's bound to be an incredible day.
Janet, thank you so much. Janet Jobson is the CEO of the Desmond and Leah Tutu Foundation, speaking to us there. If you want to get involved with the Letters of Peace, a beautiful initiative, you can use the hashtag Letters of Peace, or you can go and submit directly to the foundation's website. You can write a letter, you can write a poem, you can do an artwork, a recording, or a video, or a single sentence beginning with the words, "Dear world, peace to me means," or if Archbishop Tutu were here today, I'd tell him. So I urge you, challenge you, go and give it a go.
WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
Hi Mandy, it's Rudolph here from Alberton. I just want to find out, these police officers and government officials, why aren't they taken for polygraph tests if they are accused, to find out if they are guilty or not? Now it's he says, she says, but I mean, like, get the evidence, take them for polygraph test and then take it from there.
Hi Mandy, I would like to know how we can be sure that the data of unemployment is correct, and then secondly, how the conversion of data into information, how they make sure that that's accurate, because I've got serious doubts. I don't trust that these stats are accurate, and I would like to know that Andre. Bye.
Oh, it's like Mandy Wiener's information hotline. I'm afraid I don't have the answers to everything. I think, and I can be corrected here, polygraphs are not legally admissible. So I think that's probably why. And you need to have compliance to do one. So I don't think that they would be legally submissible. And are the stats right? Are the stats wrong? Look, there's been a lot of debate around that. We had the former Capitec CEO saying that the number is actually completely off because of the informal economy in South Africa. But it's Stats SA. So I suppose we have to trust them, but I understand your concerns, and I think the private sector would be looking at that as well. Anywho, lots to talk about. Shamila Batoy is on the stand at the ad hoc committee. I think that's going to be the big one to watch today. And then the Ndimande brothers, who've just been extradited from Eswatini, appearing in court shortly. It's just after 1 o'clock. The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk was brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. Think bigger. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking.
This is EWN.
The unemployment rate decreases by 1.3%, and Shamila Batoy gives evidence in a parliamentary probe looking into corruption. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. The country's unemployment rate has dropped to 31.9% in the third quarter from 33.2% in the second quarter, while this brings the number of